The Long Island Technologists Meetup is a vibrant community where innovators, developers, engineers, and tech enthusiasts come together to spark new ideas and forge meaningful connections. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting your tech journey, our events provide a dynamic space for knowledge sharing, collaboration, and professional growth.
Yeah, cool. Let's kick it, right? Let's kick it. We'll go for like maybe a half an hour right now. Raise your hand if this is your first time here. Cool. Excellent. Welcome. Welcome to the 14th Long Island Technologists Meetup. We'll have another one of these in December, probably the second week. We're going to do a little bit off cycle to accommodate a really good friend of mine named Mike's, who's coming in from Israel, actually, to host a presentation. So that'll be nice and fun. I'll send out all sorts of alerts and stuff like that. If you've never been here before, you'll be added to the mailing list. Welcome to my content fodder. I'm sorry in advance. So fellas and ladies, I'm Justin Abrams. I'm the CEO of Cause of a Kind. We build software and websites for you. This is Mike Rispoli. That there's Matt Ramos, the CTO and software delivery manager of Cause of a Kind as well. We're local right here on Long Island, and we service businesses of all shapes and sizes, all sorts of innovative dreams. And we started this organization, Long Island Technologists, to help bring networking for technologists here to Long Island, so I didn't have to commute to Manhattan to go and get a vibe. So welcome to the 14th episode. Today, I'm super stoked. One of our founding members of Long Island Technologists, Chris Fonte, who's also the CTO of CustomerXR. They specialize in innovation in extended reality, augmented reality, virtual reality, and we're going to get a little bit of a dose of what all that means for us and how it's evolving our world, how customers are adopting that, how enterprise businesses are adopting all of that. So we'll go for maybe 30 minutes or so. Chris has a nice presentation for us. We kind of keep it simple. We're all technologists and sit in front of a computer all day long, so we kind of eliminate tech in these events. Well, welcome, and Chris Fonte.
Thanks. Thank you, everyone. All right, so who here has tried VR before? Raise your hand. I'm sure most of us have. It's pretty popular these days.
Dabbling.
Yeah, a lot of us have probably played a lot of games and stuff. What my company, CustomerXR, focuses on is enterprise applications and bringing businesses into XR. So we try to approach businesses and find ways for them to use XR. And those people are usually not software developer, tech people, gamers at all. So the way I look at a lot of this XR technology, it has to be from a lens of somebody who's not a gamer, not really acclimated with this stuff. So I'm always looking at accessibility and how easy it is to use this stuff. A lot of the projects we do revolve around the metaverse, anything that is online usually that requires like online presence, multiplayer, like an online world, an events, metaverse. That's where we usually use that. We have other apps also that are offline for enterprises, but today I'm going to talk about the current state of the metaverse and present some findings. 3 metaverse platforms that I have used a lot in this past year: RP1, Meta Horizon, and VR Chat. So has anyone heard of any of those before?
Not really, honestly, no.
Are those all of them still using blockchains as well too?
I'm not sure if any of them implemented any kind of blockchain. Okay. These are
one I'm thinking of
blockchain. Neos?
Neos.
Yeah. Okay. So Neos was awesome. Neos would probably be like way down here. So, have this graph here, accessibility, capability. Usually the ones that are more accessible, easy to get onto, are not as capable as the ones that are harder to get onto. And Neos was like kind of very complicated, but it had so much features. Like you could do so much in it, probably too much, which is why it got shut down. But I really liked Neos. I'm glad you knew about it. Yeah. Yeah. So RP1, Meta Horizon, VR Chat, 3 metaverses that I have had experiences with. So I'm just going to go through one quick story for each and just kind of like give you a rundown of like what they're capable of and how accessible they are. So we'll start with RP1. RP1 is web-based, so it uses WebXR. You could access it with a cell phone, on a browser, or in a VR headset by just going to whatever. On a VR headset, you would just go on your browser, and then all you got to do is go to rp1.com. Boom, you're in. So it's like that simple. I recommend that to a lot of people that want to just have something quick that like you can just scan a barcode or QR code, and you just instantly are in this world. Now, it's so easy to get into, but it's not very capable. It's mostly just visual. So the thing that I made in this metaverse is called, we did a concert, it was Summer Jams. Basically, I imported a stage. It was a .glb file. sent it over to the guys at RP1. They're actually a pretty small and humble team. There's only like 10 guys. So I was able to work directly with them. We put this stage in this metaverse world, and then all people had to do was type in jams.rp1.com. You can still do this actually if you want to check it out on your phone. Just type in jams.rp1.com. You go right to this world. You'll see this big stage, and then what you'll also see is a .m3u8 video playing. Does anyone know what that is?
No.
So
Let's pause and someone please pull that up. I got to see it.
yeah,
Are you doing it? It's busted.
jams.rp1.com. You said not found?
JAMS, right? JAMS?
With a Z.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
Had to be different. You had to be different. You had to be different.
There too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So
Yeah, let's see it.
yeah. Yeah, man.
Oh, look at it.
Believe it or not, this is still a lot easier to get onto than these other two. But yeah, once he's on there, he'll see a video playing. It is a .m3u8 video. So that's a lot of like online streaming. It relies on .m3u8. Something I had to learn about recently, and I actually started incorporating it into some of the other VR apps that we made that are not metaverse based. But really, that's all you could really do on this platform. You could basically build a model of like a house, a building, and then put a video in it. And that video could have a presentation or whatever you want on it. Other than that, though, just not really much functionality. A big part of the metaverse is avatars, and RP1 really has not a lot you could do with an avatar. You could change the color of your outfit, and you could change your hair to be like a girl's hair or a boy hair. Besides that, everyone looks the same.
What's he doing right now? What are you doing?
I'm just like hanging out. I'm going in the stage. I feel like I'm just a little bit like in the old PlayStation right now.
Yeah, it doesn't look like crazy, but
I'm like going through walls and everything. But hang on.
yeah.
It took a minute to load, but that's it. And like you can like, I'm at the concert.
Yep. So the video that's playing, I made, it has everyone's music playing. So that's how we got around like the audio. So basically when somebody was going up to perform, they would just go up and then their music was playing off this video and they would just kind of like dance around a little bit.
You're in the pit.
You're in the pit.
You definitely do like the golden eye.
Yeah, if there wasn't any collision on them.
But it is cool. It's sweet.
Yeah, and you saw how easy it was to get on there, right? You just put it.
Yeah, I just said my name was Mike. I'm in.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So one thing that kind of unifies all these here, I put Blender. So the way that I build in all three of these, a lot of times starts in Blender. A lot of times you could import even a 3D model off Sketchfab. Like for the concert, I just found some like concert online, like some Sketchfab model, put it into Blender. The hard part is optimizing it. So each one of these has like different things you got to have to like take into account when you're building for that platform. For example, Meta Horizons, every texture needs to say _BR after, and they have to like assign, like the textures need to be assigned in a certain way to all the material parameters in Blender. Like it's a lot to learn, but I built scripts around it, so now I can kind of do it automatically. So building in them is not accessible. Like this is mostly just for like the average user just using it. The RP1 web-based, no app. You saw easily was for him to get onto it. And that was just one thing we did was that concert. Now Meta Horizons, that's probably the one I use the most. Has anyone heard of that one? That's like Meta's metaverse. That one has a lot of visual, it's visually impressive and it has functionality. It uses TypeScript. So you could code actual functions and games and stuff. Yeah, it's not the best, but it's more than what they have. Now RP1 has said multiple times that they're going to allow people to build servers on top of this platform. One thing I didn't mention is that RP1 is basically a one-to-one scale of Earth. So it's like, imagine you're like on a giant empty one-to-one scale of Earth. So you could actually walk in this game from one area, like from New York to like Chicago, and it would take that long for you to walk there. So you could like teleport and stuff, obviously. But the idea around RP1, yeah, you could also like fly really fast and stuff. You could fly into space, and it's like a one-to-one scale of everything. And their idea was like, if augmented reality glasses become a thing, and you want to be walking around, walk up to Walmart and say like, oh, like, you know, Walmart has their own AR experience where I could ask this person, you know, where's the toilet paper or whatever. You walk into basically a bubble that is around that space in RP1, and it's one-to-one scale of Earth, so it's around that space in real life as well. And then it loads in the content like a website. So it's like a server. So they keep saying allegedly you could build anything you want on these servers, so you could build any kind of functionality you want. It isn't available yet. I haven't seen it yet, so it's all hearsay. but if it is as like what they're saying it is, it has a lot of potential. So definitely keep an eye on RP1. It's pretty cool, and the guys are really nice too that run it. Meta Horizon, going back to that, it is app-based, but it's built into the headset. So I have a Meta Quest over there. That's the most popular VR headset around right now. That one is 500, and then there's another one that is 300. That's like the cheapest way to get into VR is to get one of those headsets. Now, all those headsets come, yes, but the headsets for Steam are also more expensive than 200, right? So this is like for the average person that doesn't know PC gaming, like doesn't know anything about VR, like they buy one of these for $200 or $300, and they're just able to just go right in. It's built pre-installed with this Metaverse app, so you don't have to like do any other installation. As long as you have a Meta account with Facebook, you're pretty much good to go. The avatars in Meta Horizons are more customizable than RP1, but I don't know if you guys are familiar with the avatars on Meta. Like if you have a Facebook, you might see that you have that little avatar character for yourself. It's those characters. So you could like change the face and you can change your outfit. That's pretty much it though. There's also no video capability, which is sort of true. They basically are gatekeeping. Now VR chat, that's usually people's favorite. That's the one that's been around the longest, the tried and true one. To get onto VR chat though, you can't access it on your phone, so you need to get one of those headsets or a Steam headset or go on Steam VR. Then you would need to, set that headset up. So you would need a Meta account anyway for that headset. On Steam, you would just need a Steam account. Then you got to download the VR chat app, and you have to make an account on VR chat. So you have to go through all these steps. Then you get onto VR chat, but when you're on there, it's the most capable out of all these three platforms. It's built on Unity. So anything you build for VR chat, it's like a Unity plugin almost. So it's in the inspector on the side of Unity. You build your levels and stuff. So it's very capable, as you could imagine. And I've seen people do some really crazy stuff in VR chat. VR chat also has the best and most expressive avatars. So you could be anything from like Peter Griffin, Goku, a snake, a dog, a cat, like whatever you want. It's super expressive avatars, app-based, so you have to download the app, obviously. You can get videos very easily. They even have like a YouTube player and stuff, so you can like watch videos really quickly with your friends and stuff. And Unity backend. The event that I'll talk about that I did with VR chat was a Blue Angels event. So I don't know if anyone here know the Blue Angels. They're like a like an Air Force jet fighter, fighter jets. Yeah, so they do a lot of air shows here in Long Island. So these people in VR chat, they have a whole group they're like really passionate about aviation. So they built a whole world with full working aircraft that you can fly around, and they do like whole shows in VR. So you're like standing in this world, you look up and like you see them and you see the smoke and everything, and they do like figure eights and everything. They've let me fly the planes. Like they're pretty well made. Like I'm very impressed by it, and the fact that it's all like in the metaverse and all in one instance, like it's very impressive. So yeah, we did an event where we actually went to Republic Airport here in Farmingdale, and the Blue Angels were launching from there. So we gave kids a chance to sit in the back of a Blue Angels plane in VR, and then the people in VR would like fly them around, and then they could turn around and be like, oh, what's up back there? And like it's like really it's a cool platform. I really like it. Tried and true, like I said, it's been around the longest. And then one quick little experience I had in Meta Horizons that I'll talk about is this Unity parade. We did a parade basically. And like I said, it's a lot of visual with a little bit of function. So mostly what we worked on was building. These people would build floats. They're just mostly just 3D objects. Some people built them in Blender. You could also build them primitively in Meta Horizon with like blocks and shapes and stuff. It obviously isn't as good as doing something like from Blender, but still pretty good. And then I scripted something with TypeScript that basically tells the floats to spawn in and then move from one point to the other within a certain time. So they would just go down the road. We also noticed that you can't have all of them at the same time, or else it would overload the world. So we had to like have somebody live, like despawning and spawning in the floats. But it worked really well. People got to have like their floats go down the road, and they like would follow them with their avatars, and people were on the floats like dancing and singing and stuff. So it's cool. It was one other thing that's cool about Meta Horizon is that they have a lot of AI incorporated into the editor. So even if you want to build a 3D model, you could just describe it. It has an in-editor 3D model generation. So you could say like, oh, I need like a table. Like just say like a table that's blue, and then it'll generate that 3D model right for you. You put it right in the world just like that. So they make it really accessible editor wise. So like this is probably the most accessible like to build on, I would say. But yeah, those are just like three different metaverses. I could show anyone if they want to see any of these. They're all accessible on this headset right here, so I'm happy to show anyone. And that's pretty much it.
Well, let's give it up for Chris. Well, dude, thank you so much. For anybody else that's really interested, this is kind of the forum. If you have another topic that you'd really be passionate about presenting, contact me. We can totally set that up. I'll fill a room for you. Not easy to stand up here and just use a whiteboard. So you did a great job, man. I learned a bunch of shit that I really had no knowledge of, and I could ask a million more questions. If anybody would like to try, Chris was generous enough to bring, and like if you have not used it, you should at least put your face in it and check it out. It's actually really freaking cool. Like I said, the next Long Island Technologists Meetup is going to be a little off cycle. We usually do these every 45 days. The next one is actually going to be in about 30 days. We're going to do this the second week of December. Not on a Thursday. It's going to be on a Tuesday. You'll see all the information come out, but I hope everybody can come back and join. We have this place until 9 o'clock. It's about 8:20 right now, so feel free to mix and mingle. And if anybody would like to come out with us, we typically go across the street, either Croxley's or Tap Room or something like that, catch a beer and continue the vibe. But thank you to all of you for coming out on a Thursday on a cold-ass night. It was raining a little bit earlier, so round of applause to you all. And thanks so much for coming. We appreciate it for sure. Hell yeah.